Hello and welcome back. Today I want to share a little story and also talk about the power of being true to yourself and working in a company that understands and appreciates you for who you are and what you bring to the table. And my story involves my smile. Stay tuned and you can learn more. Welcome back. Lovely to have you with me. So the story I want to share with you is very, very painful still to me, but a great eye-opener. So this was when I was much younger, a lot younger, a couple of decades ago. I was living and working in Europe, and then I got the opportunity to work in a consultancy in London, which is what I wanted to do. So I was super thrilled to make a move to this particular consultancy. And as the work progressed, I became increasingly unhappy. And it was painful for me because I'm not the type of person who likes to be unhappy. As you can tell, I'm someone who tends to be quite positive. But the real learning came to me when in that particular consultancy, I was told as part of my feedback that I smile too much. And it struck me because I was in shock. I was in absolute shock. I was kind of destroyed because my smile is a little bit of my trademark. I also used to have very long black flowing hair. So the two things kind of worked together, that my trademarks were my long black mane and this smile. And because I was so much younger and I didn't know how to process this, I thought, why am I being told that I smile too much? Surely that's an asset. Now, luckily, I have a lot of confidence and I moved away from that consultancy. I actually got another job in a different consultancy where I really enjoyed working, and I still have some very close personal friends from that particular company. And what I look back at that particular experience, whilst it saddens me, it is a life learning that I think is very relevant for everyone. Because very often we get pulled into jobs, into working in an environment that do not appreciate our strengths and do not leverage our strengths. And the older we get, the more cognizant, the more aware we become of this. And the reason why I share this story is because I would never in my professional life, at any point in my career, would I give someone a warning around the fact that they smile too much. Rather than thinking, and this is where an enlightened leader comes in. An enlightened leader would say, this person has got an asset. One of her assets is her smile. She's personable, she's easygoing, she's probably great with clients. Why don't we get her to do more of the relationship management, maybe business development, maybe relationship building with clients, or in types of projects where her smile would be of benefit. By contrast, what that company and that particular director decided to do is to give me a warning and for me to change. And it's a very powerful story because I suspect that a lot of us have been in a similar situation where an employer or someone we work with is expecting that we would change in order to suit them. So essentially, we're putting a square peg in a hole where it just doesn't work. And for me, that's part of becoming more aware, becoming more mature even, to say, well, this job isn't for me. Luckily, as I said, I moved on quite quickly after that because I was mature enough to say, well, if they don't appreciate my asset, which is smiling, I should take that elsewhere. And mind you, through my career, my smile has done wonders because it opens a lot of doors. It's a very, very, very powerful tool to have. And I'm so proud of it. And this is where I go back to, how are we taking on the feedback that we're given? And is that feedback relevant for us? Very often feedback can be destructive, and in my case it destroyed me. That particular piece of feedback destroyed me. Luckily it was for a very short space of time because I'm quite strong-minded and strong-willed. But I often think if I didn't have the strength that I have as an individual, that feedback could have really traumatized me for life, because I can't change the fact that I smile. And if I smile less, what does that mean to my psychology? So there's a knock-on effect, which is why, again, I kind of build on this example. So let's think about that. Number one is, how are we dealing with the feedback? And secondly, is the feedback relevant for us? I am not suggesting ignore feedback or be selective, but what I am suggesting is really recognizing whether that feedback is authentic and it relates to you, who you are as a person. If the feedback undermines you, or if the feedback requires too much from you, then it is potentially time to move on. Like I did. It was painful, I went through it, but I went into much greener pastures. So this is what I wanted to share with you today, because other people may not realize, managers, leaders, may not realize the impact they have on subordinates. And I have a real issue with that. And that's why I work in the field that I do, training companies and kind of working on their transformation mindset to get them to provide platforms and mechanisms by which employees can be more engaged in a way that helps the business be more agile. And at the same time, I also work with individuals, supporting them in their life shifts, in their transitions and pivots during their careers. So think about these 2 points that I made, and hopefully, if you look back, have you had any of these types of feedback yourself? Have you been able to overcome it? Which ones would you reject? Which ones you've actually worked with because they were for the better? This is part of our introspection and us becoming more mature and much more powerful leaders and professionals. So thank you for staying with me. If you have anyone who would benefit from this video, please share. And of course, please drop me any notes, get in touch. More than happy to hear your feedback. And also anything else that you'd like me to touch upon. Great having you with me.